Good evening. Welcome. I feel like I should have a party hat or something. This is, among very weird times, which we'll discuss in a minute, a celebration. Welcome, everybody. And firstly, the first of what I'm sure will be many thank yous, as tonight we are celebrating the fact that this channel has reached 50,000 subscribers, which it did a week or two ago. This is also very good timing because if you go back and look at the very first video on this channel, it was released on the 20th of October 2023. That means, number one, we hit 50k in under 2 years. Number B, number one, number A, number B. The second thing is that it means that as of midnight tonight, this channel will be 2 years old. There's a lot to get through. We've been asking people to send in their questions, and we have many of them to share with you tonight. And we're also going to be taking some conversations and some questions from chat. But of course, I can't do this alone. And for a Q&A, I think you need to bring in a professional. And for that reason, I have brought in one of the most professional people in the Eurovision fandom and the person with the most authoritative radio voice of all. That is the one and only James Stephenson, now of escinsight. Welcome, James, to the stream. And thank you for all of your support over the last couple of years. How are you doing? And we were talking about the iceberg. I remember it really well. If you don't mind me sharing a story about that, and this podcast is still up somewhere, you can go find it. I went on to talk about the iceberg. And the game was that I would talk about, I would name an item, and then people from the Eurovoix team had to guess guess what the thing was. And I remember the one I did was Maltese sausage water. And you knew what it was, but none of the team at that time did, which is most disappointing. Very quickly, thank you all so much already. Marcus, Ingvild, Brash, Kieran, Kihag, for all of your donations. Apparently, James is muted. You're not, because I can hear you, which means it's something wrong on my end. I'm going to fix that in a second, James, so you just sit tight and don't worry about that. And also to Thomas Orn and Maiju. Right. It's so typical that there would be a problem here because it's been quite a while. I need to do that. James, speak now.
Hello.
There we go. I fixed it.
Is that good?
Yes, there's always one button you forget to press. And that was probably really loud, so we probably just jump scared everyone. Jay,
God.
For those of you who are wondering, Jay's going to be along in a minute too. He's just setting up now. It's not his fault. He's not late. It's just that he had work. If we were starting at the normal time, which would be 8 p.m., then he wouldn't have had a trouble getting here in time. The reason, and I'm not kidding, the reason why we are starting, oh, there he is, at 7:30 instead of, there we are. The reason we're starting at 7:30 instead of 8 is because I need to finish before Cheese's dinner time. Cheese's dinner time is at 10. So,
Priorities.
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned. I mean,
Jay,
this is cheese we're talking about.
Jay, are you there with us? We can see,
Oh,
he's got a hat!
he's got the hat memo.
He's
Just
also muted.
Hold on. Got to applaud this. Just
Well done, Jay. Well done. Welcome, Jay. Oh, what's he done? He's forgotten to plug his microphone in. This is rather sad, isn't it? It's like watching a Victorian child stumble on the ice in winter.
This is like
Hey, Jay. Oh,
Please,
God.
sir, may I have some more time out of the cupboard?
Oh
my God.
Welcome, Jay. We've literally just started, and you've arrived just in time for, before we start on the questions, I feel like it might do everyone's psyche either good or bad in chat, just to quickly talk about the state of Eurovision right now, because a lot has been going on in the last few weeks. Secret Life of Eric, thank you so much, says, please don't explode into glitter. I'll try not to. So the state of Eurovision, it's a weird time for the contest. And I'm here to make a bold statement, which is that we have essentially only a tiny proportion of the actual information we need to work out what is going to happen in December. Because if you look back over basically everything that's happened since the contest in May, the entire situation has changed totally, basically every 6 weeks. And we are still 6 weeks away from December. So things are going to change again. There will be a different set of circumstances that could mean basically anything. You know, one thing we discussed before we start the stream today is that currently it looks like the ceasefire in Gaza might not hold. If that's the case, then that changes the picture, you know, because if there isn't a ceasefire, they've suspended aid again. So these things are all happening in real time around us. And the contest, as with many other institutions, I think, in many ways is a bit of a passenger in that respect. Frederick Lars Nelson, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I promise I won't leave you off the patrons list in the next video. I'm really sorry about that.
Wow.
It's really poor.
But yeah, I know. I chose the wrong... They were all in a thing. I chose the wrong file. James, we've been following this very closely
Yes.
on a scientific level. Jay, I'm going to come to you for a vibes level assessment in a minute. But James, first, how are we feeling?
Well, at the moment, I think the main thing is kind of what you said earlier, which is that things are changing so quickly that it is so difficult to speculate what is happening behind the scenes. What we can talk about is the facts of the matter, which is that after May, there was clearly a discussion to be had around Israeli participation at the contest. We went to the General Assembly in July, where multiple countries position their thoughts on the matter. There was talk that a vote may happen. Israeli media said that people wanted a vote at the time. That didn't occur. There was a report that was set up by the EBU following that with a seasoned TV producer that we now know to be Petr Dvorek that went around the delegations and asked them what their thoughts were on this whole issue. And after they collated their findings, the executive board, led by the EBU president, sent out a letter to all of the broadcasters saying that there was going to be a vote in November, an extraordinary meeting. 2.5 weeks later, with the ceasefire being announced on Monday, that fell away. And we're now in a position where there will be a discussion at the General Assembly in December, which was the old timeline. So, as you say, Gabe, we really don't know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. What I guess we do know are numbers, which is that there are at least 4 broadcasters who have outwardly actively said if Israel are at Eurovision in Vienna, they're not. There are a couple of other broadcasters who have said that they might go down that route. And on the flip side, there is discussion about countries like Germany, countries like Austria, who are very in favour of Israel being at the contest, and rumours that certainly Germany might threaten withdrawal and things like that. So it's a pure numbers game, I think. I mean, Jay can provide the vibes level, as you say, but from the pure science, one way or another, there will be a decision on this. One way or another, there is going to be a shift in what the contest is going to do, what the contest is going to look like, and who is going to be involved in the contest from a numbers basis. And however that goes down, you sense it's going to get quite ugly, to be honest.
And from a Jay, I think from a just as a Eurovision fan for a moment, explain how the last few weeks have felt, because I think most people are feeling similar or the same things. In fact, in general, everything since June, July, however long it's been, we've been dealing with this, you know, will they, won't they stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm so pessimistic right now. Like, I was talking to my friend about this, who's also into Eurovision. It's a mess. You wanted a vibe check, the vibes are off. Like, it's not good at all. Especially because, so for like more casual fans, this looks so bad, and it's really bad for the EBU's reputation. It just looks like everything they're doing is completely the opposite of what everyone wants them to do. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, it was this the thing. I think things definitely do not feel good. I will say that I think the crash out over the vote going back to December was maybe a little premature, because it didn't actually. I woke up the next day having spent the previous evening crashing out. I was like, nothing's actually materially changed other than the date of the vote. and they've been buying time all summer. So why would they stop buying time now? They extended that deadline to December to give themselves that kind of leeway. But it's just it's looking. It's going to be a complicated time for the contest. I'm starting to. I don't think the contest is going to die. I think it could take some really heavy blows. I think it could take a very long time to recover. But I'm also conscious of the fact that things have changed so dramatically over the last month. Things could change dramatically before December. Things could then change dramatically between December and May, because December is still 6 full months away from the contest. We are not even halfway there yet. And that's something to really... They're all throat singing in chat. They're all just doing... They're literally... I looked in chat and they're all just like... Ho. So actually, on the flip side, I think the level of psychosis that the ESC Gabe audience has reached is on a new high, and as a result, I would argue that they're kind of doing all right. When you sort of, I don't know, freak yourself out into delirium, I sort of feel like they're all at that point at the moment. Every time I look in this chat, there's something new, absolutely mad going on. And speaking, by the way, of that chat, obviously, you've all been submitting your questions for the last few days. We'll keep an eye on the chat tonight. See if there's some good ones, we might pick them out and answer them on the spot. But we have brought James here to be the authoritative master of questions. And as someone who knows us well, so knows the questions to ask, and hopefully how to embarrass us just the right amount. And I think it's time we did turn to the first question. And so, James, I would ask you to take it away. You're not good to go. Take it away. Not good to go.
Yeah, we're on Take It Away. There's a difference. I mean, people who've been on the ESC Gabe couch get preference for catchphrases, I think. So that's why that's got to be there. And we'll ask a few questions about that. One I find really, really funny about this is that I've prepared this interview for you both in the same way that I'll prepare an interview for a Eurovision artist. Yeah. So I've gone through the same process that I would have done. I've treated this properly seriously. So bearing in mind, I've interviewed Martin Osterdahl, Martin Green, Erica Vickman, Tommy Cash, Kai, whoever in the last year. This is the same treatment.
We're getting the same level of depth.
Yeah, same level of depth and reverence. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope everyone else does in chat as well. So, without further ado, Gabe,
hi.
Jay, 2 years ago tomorrow, you started making YouTube videos. If you think back then, what did success look like to you both?
Oh my God. I have about 10 different memories of this. Maybe I'll try and find them on my phone later and screenshots of different milestones and stuff, which kind of demonstrate it. I remember the very first video, we just wanted the format to work. And so before we posted it publicly, the week before or something, Jay had edited maybe half of it or something. And obviously back then, because we were doing it for the first time, it took ages. It took us a month to do the first video or more.
An entire month. And it's a 20-something minute video.
Yeah, I can't. It's one of those things. It would be a lot easier if we were doing it again now.
Yeah.
And obviously because we're both working full time, all that. Basically, we were in with a few friends, and we just showed it. We got to that sort of whatever point it got to, and I remember they were all like, "It's good. This is genuine." We've been be really honest. If this sucks, we need to know because we don't want to make tits of ourselves, And they were like, "It's good. It's really good." And so that was initially just our goal, was to make a good video, and then once we made one good video, to make another one. And then initially for the first one, I was like, it'd be really cool if it got maybe 1,000 views. And basically, I can go back and look and probably
Always
show
checking
you
the
on
stats.
Screen. Let me go.
This should be good. I love some social media diagrams.
Yeah, I got to find it as well, but I've also got to make sure I show it without. This one has 0 estimated revenue because I realized only earlier today that it was So here we are. Here's the first video. I'm gonna change shots. You guys can't see it, but they'll be able to see it on screen. And so this is the first video. And so we were like, if it gets 1,000 views, we'll be happy. And as you can see, first 6 days, 500, and then this happens. And by 15 days, we're at 4,500. I remember at that point, Jay, us being like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, 4,000 views.
I mean, like 4,000, that's
It's not small,
still a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for a first YouTube video, that's quite insane to have attracted that many people in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then the second one happens, and the second one was about Finland, and that meant it did really well. And so that then got way more. So we had this kind of quite sharp thing at the start where we were like, oh my God. The second memory I have was when we were putting out the first iceberg at the start of 2024. Me and Jay actually came here and we had like a 3-day like boot camp where we just did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Iceberg
was a-
boot camp.
Yeah. And
How
just
how did you structure that out?
Okay.
well, it's literally I was sitting here filming. You can see in the background of the second part of the first iceberg video, Jay's sat at that table over there while I'm here recording.
I did a couple of the items as well. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I remember because we did the whole joke about how you were going to show that guy's OnlyFans on screen, and then I come in and I'm like, Jay, no. But yeah, and then I remember we filmed it and we were like quite excited about this one because we thought this is a format that we know on YouTube does well in general. And I remember saying to Jay, like, I think this could get like 10,000 views.
And I was like, that's crazy.
And then you were like, nah, fuck it, 20K. And I was like, it's not going to get 20K. Don't be ridiculous, Jay.
Where's it
Thank
on
you
now?
so much, Stephen and Ash, by the way, for your subscriptions. I have seen that. Stephen will come to your question later, I promise.
What's the view count at now?
The view count on the first iceberg video.
Yeah,
Gosh.
Iceberg 1,
Yeah.
2024.
Let me find it. Gosh.
2023 even.
It was
Yeah.
2024. Here we are. So the iceberg
released in
videos now
2024.
have
Yeah.
part 1 has 81,200 views and the second one has basically exactly 50,000. So all of these numbers, because it happened quite quickly, like our sort of like what we considered to be success was always well below what was actually happening. And so it was this constant kind of what the fuck is going on kind of thing for quite a while. I mean, I don't know. What do you remember of it, Jay?
Well, the reason why we had that boot camp in the first place is because my laptop. So, did we ever tell this story?
I don't think we did actually. You should.
What,
tell it.
what happened to your
Oh,
laptop,
this is
Jay?
a great story time. Right, I still
Ooh,
have
yeah.
it. Wait, let me. Under my tape. Right.
I hate
This
The
laptop.
Victorian child, Victorian laptop.
This laptop served me for I think 8 years, and when I tried to edit the iceberg videos, everything just shut down. Like my files were corrupted. Like I don't know what happened, but like this is like just a piece of garbage now. So we tried to edit that first iceberg video like what 3 times. Like we had to restart editing it 3 times, and it just wasn't happening. So I got a new laptop, the one I'm using right now. And then I think Gabe was like, just, you know what, just come over for like a day or 2 and we'll get all of this done in one weekend. And it actually
something had
worked.
snapped. Yeah, something snapped in my brain. I started editing myself that night. And I was like, come here tomorrow. And I literally started editing that night. And I stayed up until like 5 o'clock in the morning. Jay arrives the next day. I give him the stuff. And we literally just sat until it was all done. And ate a lot of pizza. And then we released the videos like 4 days apart. I think by that point we were so desperate for it to be done because it was such such a big thing to do. It's daunting now. So you can imagine when you've only done a few videos, it was just an immense project. But like it was almost fully done in November and then in late December. And both times we lost everything and had to start again.
And I
because
can say how damningly awful that is. Like when you actually lose an edit, I've lost it on podcasts that we've done in the past, late on in the process. It's just horrible.
It's actually one of the worst feelings ever when you realize you're like, oh my God, all the time I've put into this and it's just gone. Like, oh.
and that was how Jay learned the power of Google Drive backups.
Yes.
And now I insist on them for videos. But yeah, and then it sort of over time. I think at that point though, we were very deliberately not looking at numbers, and over that first 2024 season, there was a very deliberate effort to just focus on consistency, work out what formats work, and put out a video every week. Like just get used to it, you know. And so that then put us in a much better position for 2025. And then sort of as we came into 2025, Jay got more busy with work and other stuff as well. So I've been doing most of the like editing as well this year. But then obviously we introduced the streams and stuff, which I feel like is our kind of, me and Jay operate at like our peak level. I think when we're on stream together, and like going away to Estonia and Ireland and stuff. And those are things we're going to keep doing. So it meant that once we had the sort of, essentially last year was a proof of concept. We deliberately weren't looking at numbers at all. And we were like, let's just try and do it, like make it work. And so the success was getting to the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then this year was very much an, okay, kick on. Everything needs to be more precise. Everything needs to be, you know, more polished. The standards increased, you know, the amount of thought increased, you know, going into videos, going into going into like the thumbnails and titles and stuff. I started taking all of that stuff a lot more seriously because I started to understand YouTube more, and it is very much a platform that you can only learn by doing, and you have to make mistakes. Like the sort of reviews I was doing 2024, if you go back and watch them, content wise, they're kind of similar to what I was doing in 2025, but the way in which they're labeled, the way in which they're presented is totally different. And it's because I kind of learned that the way I was presenting them then wasn't really working. So I did, you know, something different.
What's the biggest change you've made then between what you were doing then and now how you approach video now?
There was
This is what I do.
There was an emphasis on completeness last year. Like I'm going to make a section about every single song. So I knew every video I was making until the contest in like February, because it was like, okay, I'm doing these 3 this week, then these 3 next week, then these 3 next week. And that didn't work for a number of reasons. I couldn't react to anything. I was tied into a 12-part series that essentially, if the interest started to wane, I had to just keep going. And I didn't have any time to do anything else. And I couldn't go into depth or anything because really I had like 7 minutes to talk about each country. This year, number one, I decided I wasn't going to cover everything because it's just not practical for the depth that I do. If I'm not working full time, I can only really make a video a week. Number two, I was like, for every video, I want there to be, there's a narrative, there is an angle. Like if you look at all of my videos in 2025, you will see there is a story that I'm telling in each national selection. Or it's going to be about, well, can a ballad win? Let's look at, you know, people are talking about this. Let's look at those ballads. Or the odds suggest that these 5 countries all have a really similar chance of qualifying. Let's talk about the 5 songs and which one is most likely to, you know, so sort of doing a lot of the same stuff, but just framing it in a different way, having some kind of lens to look through it rather than just, I'm doing a review of this thing. And that made such a difference because it enables you to sort of present stuff in a more interesting way. And also, it does mean you can occasionally rage bait people. No, I'm kidding. I only do that. There was occasionally I'd write a title and I think that's going to annoy people too much, and I'd rewrite it. And then people still do. But yeah, so like I focused a lot more on narrative and storytelling this year, whereas last year it was more about reviewing, getting fundamentals down, completeness, understanding what works and what doesn't, and also what interests me and what doesn't. Doing it this way, to be blunt, if there's an entry that really doesn't interest me, I'm just not going to talk about it all that much. You know, it'll come up, like in my ranking video, for example, but it's not going to get that kind of in-depth treatment that something like Albania got, or Ireland or Estonia, which we actually went and saw. That's quite a long answer, but hope it helps. Quickly want to thank Gonzalo for the Prime sub. Thank you so much. And Kinirek for the 50 Czech crowns, who says, will you ever do a video about what to do on Eurovision for people who go there for the first time? I think it would help a lot of people, including myself. Yes, I would consider doing that.
Good idea.
Come back to me in a few months. Maybe I will actually do that.
I'd have loved that in 2022 when I first went, actually.
Yeah,
So
well,
that'd be
it's
nice.
something that I think I probably should do as someone I've been there like 5-6 times now, and I'll get some I'll get some people to help me write that as well. Yeah, sorry, that's quite a long-winded answer, but hopefully that does summarize how much the channel has changed. Like, lots of small decisions that come together to make quite a substantial change, and I hope that people can see that that I hope things are better than they were at the start, because I think I'm a better writer now. I think I'm better at presenter. I think I'm better at streaming. So yeah, that's any
It's a
thoughts,
tale
Jay?
Tale of progress.
Indeed.
No, like sometimes I do watch that first video back and I'm like, oh my god, the amount of improvement is crazy. Because when we first started, we were like, oh, this is actually quite good. And now we look back and we're like, could be a lot better.
I mean, the
like
amount of stuff that we consider
ago.
to just be fundamentally wrong about the way this was done. That video did have the first Nothing Burger mention, but I just want to put it on screen for a second and point out a few things. There's literal holes in my wall from where the previous owners of my flat put a bracket for a TV mount. My kitchen table is covered in crap. There's just there's like my plate from my lunch. There's a bag on it. I'm fairly sure I'd had Greg's for lunch that day, and so there was just an empty sausage roll bag on the table.
Most Geordie thing you've ever said. Well
Yeah,
done.
the microphone is slanted off to the side. I'm wearing headphones for some reason. Like, there's just the lighting is like I'm in prison. The camera's really blurry. Like, there is so much wrong with it. And also, I only occupied like the bottom half of the screen. Like, I'm hidden behind the microphone like this.
You're hunching.
Yeah, so there's so many things which I look back now and I'm like, oh. But at the same time, it's difficult to not sometimes you've got to remember that time that felt really good. And so it's it's a funny thing. And also it meant there were some jokes I made about it. I can't remember what video it was where I finally got the holes fixed, and I opened that video by saying, "Good news, everyone! I've had my holes filled." And then Jay put like the sort of the like "yay" sound effects over it. Oh god. And now obviously, and look at all this now. Like, this is how you can tell. This is how you can tell that my now fiance has had a massive positive effect. We have stuff on the walls, real life things.
Every time we video call each other, there's something new going on. Like,
Yeah, no, I feel this as
the
well.
shelf.
It's like a little jungle in there now. Like, look at all the plants around. Like,
Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
the one house plant from like a year and a half ago. There was like just the
Bess.
one plant on the side.
Oh,
yeah,
Bess.
Okay.
Bess, who you'll notice sort of slowly perking up because peace lilies get really dramatic when you don't water them, and I watered Bess like an hour ago, so she's slowly going like. Anyway, sorry. We should probably have more questions. We've been on for like half an hour.
We
and asked
should.
one
We
question.
should. We can have a best tracker through the stream. See how far she gets up.
Indeed.
Typical. I have a cough before I'm about to ask a question. So now we've talked about where you were at the start. Let's talk about where the whole thing is now, which is obviously you both would have wanted to get big from this because, like, obviously you want to have that attention and you want to make that kind of impact with this sort of thing. And did you realize that the whole channel had become bigger than both of you? Like, what was that moment like?
There was a few. I think just after Eurovision, at Eurovision 2024, it was too early, right? I didn't really because we had like 3,000 subscribers or something, 4,000 subscribers. Then the video afterwards exploded. Like, the Eurovision was a complete disaster video. I gained many more subscribers and many fewer fans at the EBU headquarters. And then I think when it really started to hit home was when, like, the 2025 season started, and every event we went to, like, that was when people started coming up and saying, like, hey, I love your videos. And then first it happened a bit, and then it happened more. And then it was sort of, you got to a kind of moment somewhere during the 2025 season where you're just sort of like, oh, wow, like, this has gotten intense. And like, Euroclub was a bit of a weird experience at Eurovision this year, because like I couldn't walk 10 meters. And so then I was kind of like, oh geez, like, this is like, there's a lot of things happening here, and it's obviously exciting, and it's really rewarding to get that recognition. But that for me was the kind of the things start happening in real life. That was the kind of, oh wow, this has really gotten way bigger than we thought it would. It's bigger than us, as people keep saying in chat.
No,
It's bigger than you and me.
Jay, what do you think? When did it happen for you? So you've been having a lot of this stuff as well, right?
yeah, but I kind of love it.
Yeah.
I kind of love it. Like, I love just like speaking to people, because I'm quite introverted, you know, like I'd rather someone come and talk to me, because I'm not gonna go and talk to someone else. Like, it's kind of hard for me. So yeah, I do like people coming up to me and just starting a conversation. And like, it's really sweet when people ask for pictures too.
For sure. I always put
like,
my best smile on, no matter what mood I'm in.
Yes.
Even if I've had a shit day, if someone comes up to me and asks for a picture, like, if somebody likes what we do enough to want to do that, I'm gonna put my best A-game smile on, and I am going to stand there angelically, like,
we're gonna take the best picture we've ever taken in our lives.
Because
like,
it genuinely it does feel really, really nice when people like appreciate it, and stuff. And yeah, it's really, really nice. Unless it's Dunder. When me and Dunder took a picture, we both deliberately went like, and it was in the dark as well, so the picture is like a sort of cryptid, like.
I think I have it somewhere.
But yeah, that was the thing I think that really made me realize. The second moment was when I realized all the delegations were watching my videos.
I had it as a screen saver at one point.
Look at that. I mean, that's like modern art. Like, you know, not good modern art, but it is modern art.
It was art made a couple months ago.
It's so art house.
Yeah, that was at LEP. And then I think the second one, I think, and the other one, I think it kind of happened live on stream when I was doing the peak stream with Halfdan, and he was like, "Oh yeah, everybody, like all the delegations, all the artists watch your videos," and I was sort of there like, "Huh? What do you mean?" Yeah. So there's been a few moments like that. It's weird, but like good weird. You sort of have a kind of like, whoa. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, it must be difficult to like reconcile kind of the Gabe that exists publicly with like you as Gabe.
Well, I like to think it's not. I like to think it's not that different. I mean, I don't always yell in my private life in the way I yell when I'm on stream and when I'm making videos. You know, I don't go around. I don't get home from work and you know, my fiance's like, "Hey, how are you?" I don't go. Imagine a work day where everything that could go wrong goes wrong. Like, that's not how I live my life.
You've definitely done that before.
I have done that before.
You have definitely done that before. Yeah,
but like I have, but like self-deprecatingly, yeah. But like it's. I think probably the gap expands over time because you almost start developing two different trains in your mind, where you have yourself, where you're just developing the way, in the normal way, and then you have like your kind of on-screen persona, where you sort of sit down and start filming or streaming or whatever, and it's almost like your last previous memory was the last time you turned off the camera. And so you kind of continue from that point. And so I think I have evolved because I'm also evolving in the way like I said, in the way I write and everything else. So it's naturally going to, there's a difference, but I like to think it's not that big a difference. You know, like I'm sort of nice and energetic in real life as well, which makes this easier, to be honest. Because I think if I was a miserable sod, it would be pretty difficult to. That said, I'm miserable on all my thumbnails, so maybe it would make that bit easier.
Yeah. Do you know what I've noticed actually in the past minutes? The eyebrow game in the thumbnails is getting wild now. Like those things have got lives.
Oh, there's an edit
Those have got
somewhere.
independent lives.
If somebody can DM it to me on Twitter, I'll put it on screen. There is an edit somewhere of my eyebrows, and it's really funny. Where one of them, it's got the meme like raised eyebrow. Somebody DM it to me on Twitter, and I'll put it on screen. Because the eyebrows, the thing is that is the thing I find most difficult, is the taking the thumbnail photos. And I'm going to see if I can show you guys what my Google Drive looks like. In fact,
Please.
the easiest thing would be just to show my phone, because literally I have galleries full of photos of my own face. Okay, 1 second.
I genuinely think like your eyebrows could get Estonian citizenship before you do.
They're so far removed from the rest of my face.
Like they are gone. Like they're already thousands of miles away.
But like, look at this. There's loads of them. Like, it's just loads and loads and loads of them. And it just goes on and on and on. Every video, I'm just taking loads of these photos, and you can tell. Like, look, for this one, there's loads. Like, and so I pick one of those.
Can you do a thumbnail picture for us right now in front of the camera?
Because I have my thing is what I'll do is I'll have my phone, and I'll either put it on a little stand with my normal lighting setup, or I'll just hold it in my hand and sort of like shuffle my shoulders in so it doesn't look like I'm taking a selfie. Then I'll just be sat there like. You know, and so you get all the different poses, and then whichever one I don't look like an absolute mug in, or whichever one I look least like an absolute mug in, that's the one that ends up being the photo. I've got a bunch of DMs on Discord, so I think someone may have sent me the infamous meme. I'm going to show it on here again because I can't bring up the 1 sec.
Yeah, fire.
Thank you to someone just subscribed. The Now Player. Thank you.
I think once we've seen this, I'll do a fan question as well because I've seen one I like.
Yeah, go for it while I'm getting this.
So I'll start getting the fan questions because they've put me in charge of that. God help everyone.
Go on.
Oh, I'll do. Would you want me to do it now?
Do
or are we
it.
waiting
While I'm
for-
finding
All
this,
right,
because
do
it's
it.
going to take me a minute.
Okay. Well, this one's off the YouTube. This is from Alana J9033.
Oh, I did find it actually.
And this question is: What
Oh,
is
I
your
love that.
favorite? What is your favorite Eurovision song that nobody? Oh my god!
Sorry, Alana's question. Alana's question. Ask Alana's question.
Alana can wait. Give me that eyebrow back.
You want it back? Wait, should I hold it next to my head and I'll try and do the face? I'll try and do the face.
So,
I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna have to try and not laugh.
Oh my god, that was so accurate.
Was it?
It's not. It's not far off. We'll get it. It's not like I really want to see Gone Game get it up, but like,
Oh my god.
right.
Ask Alana's question.
I'm asking Alana's question. So, Alana J9033 asks, what is both of your favorite Eurovision song that nobody else in the fandom seems to like? So, underrated
Oh.
Eurovision
Voki
gem.
mit deinem Popo. I said what I said.
Shitters.
Yep. Track shitters.
Oh.
Is that only good because they stopped Conchita from winning in 2012?
I mean, that is really
And then
funny.
Conchita came back 2 years later.
That is really funny that they beat Conchita by 1%, but also it's
Yeah.
just a banger. I just love that song. It was my favorite song that year, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry,
Well, yeah, we
and you can all hate on me if you want. I will not be deterred from this opinion.
by the fandom.
Exactly, and yeah, And just don't get me started on other songs from that year, like Love Unlimited by Sophie Marinova. Anyway, Jay, go ahead.
Go on, Jay.
I'm looking through my Eurovision scoreboard because I can't think of it at the top of my head. Oh, you know what? Okay, it's not a Eurovision. Well, it is a Eurovision song, but it's in
It should be.
a different language. Does that count?
Yeah.
Like it's the Eurovision version is in English.
Okay,
All right,
go
fine.
on
If
then.
it's a different language one, that's fine.
Fallen Angel was a banger. Like Ut av Morket.
Oh, what, in Norwegian?
That was a banger.
Oh, the Norwegian
Yeah.
version of the Pig song, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I think I heard that Norwegian version before. It is not bad. I don't mind that song. No,
It's a lot better in Norwegian because the lyrics aren't as cringe.
I just feel like that still gets so much hate because of Monument being in that year. I feel like it was
Yeah.
always going to have such a rough ride with people because of what it beat. So, Gabe, what
But
I'm sorry, it's just the
it's been
Discord.
absolutely increasing up for the
what's
last
happened?
The Discord
Going on
server right now
Discord.
is one sec. I have to take you guys off screen at the moment, but everyone can still hear you. I'm gonna put some of these on screen because it's
God.
really, really
is it
funny.
I'm gonna have to go on YouTube on my phone to see these.
Oh my god! Wait, open link. Here we go. Right, I'm gonna put them on in a minute. I'm gonna collect some of them together, and then I can't stop laughing.
Oh, he is dying.
Where in the Discord is it?
Oh
I'm
my
trying-
god.
Oh Jesus Christ! You people. Oh right. I need this one where allegedly I'm doing the same face as that one's only funny in concept. Okay, I'm just. I'm just gonna do. I'm just gonna do a few of the. All right, we'll do that one. Okay. Here are a few of my favorites so far. I'm sorry, Alicia, I can't stop giggling.
Me
Right,
and James
here
are
we
just
are.
here like, huh?
Which is like,
I like this one. This one.
I'm not gonna have to get the stream. I'm having to watch the.
Oh my
Oh, I'm doing it there now. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Right. 3, 2, 1. I'm there now. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Thank you,
Oh
Simon, for
my
the £2.
God.
Oh god, I have to take it away. I have to take it
Oh.
away. It's making me laugh too much. Where's the button? There.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus. Okay. What were we talking about? Can we go back?
God. It was underrated. We were talking about underrated
Taz
music
says this isn't even that funny.
Oh,
Taz, mine and Gabe's humor is broken.
yeah, it's really bad. We should show them that Instagram reel that always makes us laugh. And it's just
Yeah,
shall
we
I
have
get
a
it?
great
Give me a
story
minute.
to go
We're
with
going
that.
really far off track
Yeah.
here, but I gotta put it on screen.
This is so tangential.
Um,
While Gabe, you do that, I'll just say that my answer to the underrated Eurovision song is "No Degree of Separation" by Francesca Michelin. Put some respect on its name. My God, what a
Interesting,
song.
interesting. I like that song.
Interesting.
I'm not totally convinced, but I like the song. That's what I'm going to give you, okay? Right, I found it. Again, Jay, you're not going to have to see it on screen.
I got my phone.
But I'm just going to... And James, I'm going to... I'll send you a link in a bit. Right. This is...
Oh. Yes. Is it gonna have sound? Right. So
Can we have one more run through, please? I've only just got on to see it. Can we have one more run through, everyone?
right. there's a story to go with this, guys.
Obviously.
So,
What is this?
so
I'm crying. I'm
I
literally
don't-
crying.
I don't-
Oh, Jay, tell the
where were
story.
yeah, I'm trying. We were going somewhere on the tube. I think
We promised. Oh, this is actually relevant. We'd promised when we earned our first AdSense payment from YouTube that we'd use it to go and buy ourselves a steak dinner.
oh my god,
Right.
yes.
And about a
Yeah,
year
yeah.
late, we ended up finally doing it. It took us ages to get around to it. We were on the train on the tube from Hammersmith to Liverpool Street. For anyone who's been to London, Jay, go tell the story.
So yeah, we were on the tube. I I was just like scrolling through reels on my phone because like why not? And then I was like dying at this video, and then I showed it to Gabe, and then he was dying at the video. So we were the two loud people on the tube just absolutely dying at this ridiculous reel, and people were looking at us
To
and
be clear,
smiling
when
along.
the reel was on mute. We didn't hear it with sound. We were on the tube.
Yes.
We were not going to play stuff through the speakers. We're not those kinds of people. We were like, it was
No.
silent, but we were trying not to laugh out loud because we were like, obviously, we're on the tube. So we're just sitting there like, like practically falling out of our seats.
We looked deranged.
Oh,
And
God.
I think we must have gone back that same evening to watch it again.
Yeah.
And we heard the sound and we died again. Like what an amazing reel.
Oh, gosh. Anyway,
It's the best thing I've ever seen.
let's go to the next question. This is a Q&A.
Yes.
We're meant to have questions. Let's have a question. That was what a
That's
diversion that was.
I'll provide a question to
Yes,
you both.
please.
Looking back at the 2 years of ESC Game videos that you've both made, for each of you, what is the best video you feel like you've done?
Oh, God. Can you go first, Jay? I need a minute to think about this.
Question, but it's got to be asked.
I think it will never change, and that's the UMK vlog. That
Yes,
was
actually,
Big
yes.
shout.
what an experience that was. Like, if you ever get the chance to go to UMK, what are you waiting for? Do it. Like, honestly, Tampere is it's such a beautiful city. Finland in general, like the places we went. I mean, we only went to like Helsinki and Tampere, but like they are beautiful. And that video
It was just so
was
fun.
so
Like, I watch it all the time. I watch it all the time just
Yeah.
because it's so fun. You know, like I remember because it's like, you know, I watch it back and I just, you know, it was such an amazing experience. And this is really funny because obviously this year Visit Tampere got in touch. They wanted to do a little collaboration, which I did with them to sort of encourage people to go this year. And that was the great thing because in many ways, like it was the most authentic like sponsorship of all time because you could literally go back and watch that video and see just how much I enjoyed it. Like it's all there. Yeah. Oh, it was just it. So that one I would probably say is mine as well, actually.
I'm not sure if I've ever told you both, but like I reckon that UMK video is like 50% of the reason. Like when we were doing the Eurovoix show, I was so clear with them like we're going to go and do UMK in 2025 because of how good you made it look. And I sort of thought to myself, right, I've got to get a big piece of Tampere. I mean, we didn't get the presser cred like you guys did, but we still went around Tampere, Fran and I, for like 4 days. It was absolutely amazing. It's absolutely the best NF to go to, or at least the one that I've been. And also, you missed out on the Erica Vickman themed cocktails in 2025. So.
Well, we're back. I can say this: we're definitely going to UMK in 2026. That's one of the things we already have in the diary.
Yep.
It's really funny because I've booked a flight home, but not a flight out because I don't know where I'm going to be the weekend before, and so it would probably make more sense to fly from wherever I am the weekend before to there, like, because if I'm doing this full time, it may actually end up costing less to just fly from place to place without coming home in the middle. So it may be that I'm on tour for a few weeks and you get a bunch of weird Airbnb backgrounds instead of my house for a few videos, if that's okay with everyone.
It's just Game on Tour.
Yeah.
Game on tour.
And so there's a bunch of places we want to go, but no spoilers. So the UMK video. Do we have maybe a question from one of the fan chats now?
Yes, let me go and have a look for something. Someone asked in the Discord a good question, which I sort of had as well. Rustic Potato, what would you consider the funniest moment in any of your videos?
We my teacher Beggy. You're my lord. Oh my God. Oh my lord.
Oh my lord! Oh my lord! That was
That's the greatest 30 seconds in the history of this contest.
Oh, that was
the
special.
way it was so unplanned as well. Like that was just like genuine reactions to that song. And
I'm gonna find it. Keep talking. I'll find it so everyone can see it again.
I remember seeing it on, I think it was Dolphin put a clip of it on Twitter. I remember I hadn't watched the stream that night, and then I saw the clip, and I hadn't watched Epi Ever After Song that night. That was my first interaction with that show, was watching you two absolutely lose it to Flora Protection.
It was just it was
amazing.
It was so unexpected. I think that was the thing. It was so unexpected that it just completely threw us. Which in some ways I was really glad we hadn't watched the shows the day before. I was originally planning to try and watch them all the day before. And usually before going on stream, I want to have seen everything in full. Which, as you can imagine, makes weekends quite hectic during national final season. It makes Sundays very hectic. I sit down for the entire afternoon and just watch stuff. Let me just see is this the right clip? Yes, I think I found it. Let me just go to.
You know what? Before you start, you know what the best detail of this clip is? It's just before you start it, Gabe. You go, it's perfect.
yeah.
Let's have a look.
It's like you're a waiter at a restaurant, like a fancy restaurant. It's like, your plate, sir. And then it's, oh my lord.
Let's move on.
Here we go. There we are. There it is. For those of you who maybe don't remember.
Memories. That was a nice Airbnb as well.
It was a really nice Airbnb.
It was bougie.
Thanks so much, Arcane, for the £5.15. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. The other thing, although they did steal like 20 quid of my money because they claimed that we'd left clothes behind, and then they sent me the clothes and they weren't ours. So they sent me someone else's clothes. Yeah. So like we just got a package in the mail a couple of weeks later, just with somebody's clothes in it. I don't know what we did with it. I think we might have just thrown it out.
You were insistent that it was mine.
Yeah, Jay, I don't mean to be. If it was going to be someone, Jay.
I have never left a piece of clothing at like.
And you are famously organised.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that.
Don't look behind the bear. Don't look behind the bear.
Yeah, no. That you know why the jingle skog is there? It's because his cabinet's covered in all kinds of shite. God, but yeah, no, I think that has to be the one time where we have like, other than like 5 minutes ago, where we have absolutely lost our minds, like laughing, like in it, like a total sort of spontaneous moment. Because this is one thing that a lot of what we do doesn't leave much room for spontaneity in terms of, because we've listened to the songs beforehand, right? The videos are obviously all pre-planned and pre-scripted. So those kinds of moments are really special and treasured, I think. And we had a few sort of like during Eurovision week and stuff as well.
I'll tell you what I'm more interested by, now we've had that question. What's the funniest thing that's happened when you've both been making the videos that we haven't seen? So like the behind the scenes comedy that we haven't actually got to watch.
I mean, Jay sees the full cut of all the videos when I'm sort of going or getting halfway through a sentence and then going like, for fuck's sake, because I've just gotten it wrong for like the 7th time. There was one thing you didn't see, and actually, Jay, you didn't edit this video, so you wouldn't have seen it either. One of the recent videos had 10 minutes footage in the middle of me running around the room playing with cheese. because he was getting really aggy and he kept meowing. And so Cheese was running around the room, so I had to run around after him for 10 minutes and then sit down, like sort of get a towel and wipe my face so that I wasn't like shiny from sweat. Then continue filming. So maybe I'll show everyone that at some point. Also, thank you so much, Wib and Brash, for the 5s each. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I will not be throat singing.
Cart.
I did throat singing earlier, maybe more later. The cheese cut.
You did
I'll
throat
think
singing
about
earlier?
it. I briefly, yeah, not for only for a second, but I was just like, you know.
Yeah, he's just doing the Dune intro for us.
But yeah, so I guess the cheese thing that would be funny for me recently. But Jay, you spend more time in the outtakes than I do. So, or is there anything like when we've been in person anywhere or anything?
Yeah, when you've been out and about.
There was that one time you had like a drum, wasn't it?
The Baron. Yeah, the Baron. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Bowron.
just bringing it in, taking it out, you looking goofy.
Oh yeah, you would have seen me coming into the room being like,
yeah,
here it is. Oh god, I'm trying to think what else. There was the time. Do you remember the stream at Eurovision this year where we were both really tired and we pressed the finish button on the stream? We both in sync went, oh,
yeah,
like on the sofa because we were so worn out. God, yeah. So those are some of them, but this, if I remember more later, which I probably will, I'll tell them, because there's loads. I mean, obviously we've been all over the place, so.
Yeah, we've taken a few flights together. Has anything funny happened on the flight?
Probably, but what someone said, will you ever release the footage of Gabe comparing Helena Paparazou to herself? I think I have it somewhere. Maybe I should release it at some point.
Do you?
I think I still have it. I'll have a look.
Wait.
Well, you know, I ranked every 3rd place or something, and Antique,
right.
one of them was Antique. Thank you so much for the €5 Fantasy Fox. I really appreciate that. And Antique was there. And I did this whole thing being like, this kind of feels like a lot like Helena Paparazou, but like just slightly less developed, like a sort of, you know, like sort of early stage Helena Paparazou. The reason it seemed that way is because it was an early stage Helena Paparazou, and it just hadn't clicked in my head. And then I finished filming, and then I was sitting there, and then I was like, shit. So I just told Jay. I was like, just cut the section.
That is unbelievable. All right. Another question from the YouTube, do you reckon?
Yeah, go on then.
Let's go for it. At Senpai Kush X asked if you had to take. That is the URL.
Senpai Kush has been around for a long time. Put some respect on Senpai Kush's name. I've been seeing that name in chat for a long time.
Senpai Kush. If you had to take 3 Eurovision artists from any year onto a deserted island, which ones would you pick?
Wiesminest. Because if you're on a deserted island, you're going to want people who are very laid back and who will drink with you. I would take Marco Bosniak as a foghorn to alert nearby ships. And it's not a Eurovision artist, but I'd take ESC Gotham so that me and Wiesminus could watch them fight and like throw change at them as they do it.
I like how you're on a deserted island and yet you're making so it's throwing your change.
Yeah. Right. So those are my 3. If I had to pick a 3rd artist, it would be Vibe because they have a boat, so we could swim away. You know.
I was gonna say if no one brought up Vibe, that would have been a very obvious one.
Okay, well I'm gonna say Vibe. Who else? Maybe the Mickey from Spain, 2019.
Oh, Mickey Nunez, yeah.
Yeah, because he's built, he's strong, he can like cut down the trees. And then Marco Mangoni.
Don't start on Marco Mangoni. Do not start on Marco Mangoni.
We're moving on. Next question.
moving swiftly.
There's a
on.
tweet. I don't advise you all
No.
to do this. There's a very
You're not
old
showing
tweet
it.
about Jay taking up residence inside an appendage, and it's still up to this day. And you shouldn't search for it on his Twitter. Let's move on. Next question.
Next question. I'll go from my. I have a few quickfire ones that
Yeah.
I had ready in case we needed them. Who is one person you wish you could have had sit on the couch in Basel for the streams?
I can only pick one.
Yeah, just one. If you had to pick one,
Erica Vickman.
I mean, I guess you can pick a few, but yeah,
Erica
that
Vickman.
one.
Like, yeah, just a total giant and heroic sort of figure in my eyes. I was also busy pumping everybody full of copium and hopium that week. So yeah, Erica Vickman. Jay, what do you think?
Miriana Conte.
Oh, that would have been really fun. Yeah.
I think she would
would've
have
been
been
good.
so much fun.
That would have been really, really good to have Miriana. I mean, Miriana and Erica, I think would have been great for that week, just because I feel like their narratives at the contest were so interesting. I think because like there was such belief in them from the fandom, and then actually when the results came out, that did not transpire, and I feel like there's a lot of similarities between the way those two entries went. So I feel like that's one to look at later down the line.
Yeah, no, I think at the same time it went differently for. I think with Erica, I think partly because it was in because it was in Finnish. You know, I do think it had that broader appeal, didn't it? But I mean, I still don't quite understand why the result was as it was. In general, the results were bizarre in 2025. So yeah, more quickfire questions. I like quickfire questions.
Yes, let's keep going. This is one from the Discord. Marvs208 asked, outside of Vist Minust and Pulup, and I'm also going to say outside of Vibe, who has been your favourite Eurovision artist to interact with?
I have to say, Nemo for the iceberg was just an absolute joy. That has to be a real
believe
highlight.
that happened. That's I remember like months before you told me about it was happening. I was just like, what the fuck do you mean? I thought you were joking
Yeah.
at first.
They are one of the most lovely people you could ever meet. And I saw them again. They had a listening party for a few of the songs from their album, which I went along to later. And so they're just absolutely lovely. They were super into it. Like, what you didn't see off camera is that they were like, tell me some of the unhinged ones from the bottom of the iceberg. Like, tell me all of the good stuff. And so I was going through, like, so actually, sadly, there's not footage of this. I did explain Maltese sausage water to Nemo. Nemo is aware.
The footage exists.
At Nemo,
The footage exists.
Footage exists.
I think so.
You can't promise that without knowing. You need to check.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I
need
will
to
check
check.
with you.
You need to check, and then maybe I can send them a DM or something and be like, hey, we have some fun behind the scenes footage we want to release.
Because like I was setting up the camera.
Yeah, if it
And,
was on.
So maybe.
Okay, that we'll look into it. No promises. No promises. We don't know if it's real. If that exists, we'll share it somewhere. If Nemo is happy for us to do that, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, to follow that up, actually, just from my experience, Nemo is probably the nicest artist I've interacted with in the 2 years I've done it. I remember, because you remember the airport queue style thing into Malmö?
Yeah.
Into the press room there, where it took ages. I ended up on, like, I think it was the day of semi-final 2, the Swiss semi-final. I was in the queue with Nemo. And we were just, like, hanging out for about 10 minutes. And it was just, like, the most casual thing. But they were lovely. And, like, the thing that stunned me was, like, they said to me, oh, it's you, as if that was the notable thing in that interaction. I was like, what do you mean it's you?
Yeah.
You're the one spinning around later.
I bumped into them in Euroclub, and this is the first time we'd ever met. So I was like, hi, hello, nice to meet you. I hadn't done an interview or anything with them earlier in the season. But they knew about the iceberg, and we'd already discussed it at that point. And they'd actually already said yes to it before the contest had even happened. and they're just so genuine and lovely. And like one thing that really stood out to me, they were sort of at the edge of the VIP area, leaning over and talking to me. After about 20 seconds, a couple of like their friends came over to be like, oh, all right, you know, there's an over enthusiastic fan. And Nemo turns to them and just sort of goes, it's okay, and sort of waves them away. So like Nemo genuinely has so much time for people and for like people involved with the contest and everything. And it's just, God, I will fight and die for Nemo if I have to.
Just one of the most wholesome people.
Yeah. Let's have one more. Let's have one more quickfire one, and then let's get a more deep one after that.
Cool. Right. Quickfire one. If you were both, for any reason, unable to film a video, and you needed another Eurovision YouTuber or content creator to fill in for you, who would each of you pick?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's such a horrible question. Jay, any ideas?
Which other ESC creator?
If we were going to have another Eurovision creator make a video, if we couldn't be the one on camera for some reason, so someone else had to be on camera, I think we're assuming like the script's been written like normal. They're sitting in this chair.
Got him. Could you imagine Gotham trying?
Gotham trying to mimic my mannerisms, since we're like
Yeah.
total like chalk and cheese in our mannerisms. That would be really funny, actually. I think that would be the funniest.
hilarious.
So I think I'm going to say Gotham, and also because he's like one of our best friends in the world. So, so Gotham would be good. I think Roy from ESC United would be a really good energy as well. So I'm going to say if you take Gotham, I'll say Roy.
Yes.
Roy would be really good on what he's videos, actually.
Yeah, and I used to love doing the ESC United live streams with Roy, and we just bounce off each other. It was great. Thanks so much, Thinker2273, by the way. Yes, I have listened to the new album, and it is amazing. Next question.
Yes, I'll ask you a slightly deeper one. Let's see what I've got in my list. Right, here's a good one. Where do you both want the videos to go next?
God.
What's like the dream scenario in, say, a year, 2 years? 2 more years.
I have a few things, but Jay, can you go first, just so I have a moment to like think?
Well, it would be. I don't. I'm stumped. Obviously, I want all of this to grow and like become something bigger. Like, imagine us just spending the whole of winter and spring just going around Europe, just living a nomad life for a bit. Like, that would be really cool to be able to do that, and just like maybe even outside of Eurovision, just like discovering different kinds of music around Europe. That would be really cool.
If I was going to go out of Eurovision, this is the first thing I'll say. If I was going to branch out from Eurovision, I will keep doing all the same Eurovision stuff. You don't need to worry about that. But if I had more time, if I had, when I start doing stuff on the second channel, I think there could be a really fun market for going to like bizarre competitions, like international competitions and stuff. So like the World Tram Championships, the Yugova International Garlic Festival, things like that, like which are really, really left field and slightly bizarre, where they literally you win if you have the biggest garlic.
What, like clove of garlic, or like...
I don't know. This is the thing exactly. You see, there's something in here. Like, is it clove? Is it a full bulb? There's all these different things. A forklift championship, exactly. All these different. Like, I think there's so much like interesting territory here. Within Eurovision, there are some stories I really want to tell. There are some stories and there's some things I can't talk about because there's things I'm planning for the first half of 2026 that I really can't talk about on camera. And there's some things which may happen where you don't even know they're happening until I announce the video is coming out. Even if they involve me going places, because of the sensitivities. There are some stories I really, really want to tell around national finals and around specific artists. I think there is a lot of ground to be covered in terms of getting into the weeds a little bit with artists, and I have, as my network has grown, now there's sort of people who I might be able to go to who might trust me enough to give me sort of a perspective on things that might be unique. Like there's a lot of things we haven't really seen. We haven't seen like an unfiltered sort of profile of a Eurovision artist in rehearsals. And I'd love to be in a position where there's a delegation or a label or an artist who trusts me enough where I can basically just go and be a fly on the wall for a week and have this unfiltered kind of, there's a crash out, that they have a crash out or whatever, and it shows how difficult and how stressful it is. But it's the real thing, it's the real experience, rather than just how have rehearsals been going? Yeah, they're going well, sort of interview thing.
Yeah,
I really want to get into the weeds and make really unfiltered stuff. I think there's narratives developing around national finals next year that are going to be really interesting and are going to be stories worth telling on a journalistic level as well as anything else. I think, I'd like to go and do some silly stuff as well. Like I would love to go to Iceland and do Song for Captain video with Vibe. That would be super cool. So yeah, I want to get deeper stuff. I want to keep doing what we're doing, but also I want to do the deeper things. I want to go and tell stories that other fan media sites aren't doing because they're either logistically unable to or because they're not in a position to. And I have to keep building the channel. I have to keep building my relationships with delegations to go and do that. Some of the things are very, very, very interesting, potentially. But I think there's so much like Eurovision as a cultural phenomenon is such a rich space. And I feel like we're only just getting into it. Hopefully, what I would really love, I don't know what's going to happen with the contest next year yet. I'm going to leave it quite late to make a decision. I have certain contractual obligations anyway, which means but even then I'm going to cover national final season, cover the national finals, do live streams, do videos, and then after that make a decision about Vienna. But I want to tell some really interesting stories in that national final season. I want to do the bread and butter stuff that we're normally doing, but like I would love for us to get to the end of national final season and to have a few things which you guys can all look at and go, wow, that was a really good like thing that's not been done before. Let's see what happens. But yeah, that's my vision. And for it just to keep growing so that I can sustain it as a full-time endeavor. We're trying it for the first half of 2026. And it's going to be tough. And I'm going to have to keep asking people to, subscribe to the Patreon and become a YouTube member and all this stuff. But like, it just massively opens up the options as well in terms of what I can do. It allows me to explore those non-Eurovision opportunities while keeping the full schedule of Eurovision stuff going. It basically means I have to make a whole lot less compromises than I do right now. So yeah, I have so much. Yeah. I feel like we've just gotten started. That's what's so exciting. There's so many things I want to do.
But that's the thing with Eurovision, I feel, because I don't know, maybe this is me talking, but like, you can scratch the surface of it and there's one way of looking at it, but then you can actually go so much further and find all of these little hidden stories and narratives and things in separate countries, separate national finals, comparing things across years and across the whole 70-year gamut we've had of the thing. I think, yeah, we're barely scratching the surface, all of us.
I mean, take the Serbia video, for example, this year.
Really good example.
I barely talked about Prince or about Mila, but the national final itself, the political context, that was really interesting. And I went out and I sat down with, and he's in chat right now, actually, among other people, Stephen, who's in chat right now. I sat down and I just took loads of notes from Serbians about, here's what you need to be reading. Here's the sort of sequence of events. Here's how it's all linked together. These are the places you need to look. And did you hear that? Firework just went off outside. Cheese is looking a little alarmed. Oh, he's back to sleep. He's fine. And so there was such an interesting angle and place to take that. I'd love to do more stuff like that. I will also. Stephen did ask earlier who he thinks has the most tiki out of the three of us. It's Jay.
What's the most what?
Tiki.
What?
What's that?
Remember Bessa?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You have the most ticky, Jay. Sorry. But yes, so yeah, and there's a story like that. There are stories like that all over Europe. I mean, think about the context that Vidbeer takes place in, for example. You know, think about and a lot of national finals this year. There is going to be Israel-related stories to tell as well. I'm not going to make it like I don't want to be doing that every week because it would get really boring. But there is going to be national finals where that's a big factor for various reasons. Imagine an Austrian national final in the context of Israel not participating. That is a very interesting event because what they do in that show will tell us a lot about how they're responding to it. Given that if it's happening in December, it's going to be so late, the decision, that the host can't pull out, really, realistically. Practically, it's impossible. But yeah, just so much. There's so much I want to talk about.
It's like the excitement is like so clear, and it's lovely. It's like watching it come off your face is really, really nice. I will ask you another kind of semi-serious one, and then I will go back to the fan questions for you. What is the wildest, most utterly surreal thing that has come from you guys making these videos, or just like generally like interacting with people who know about them and want to like support you?
I will say two things. Number one, I was at an event, and I'm not going to say what event or where, and I was introduced to somebody who was a senior person at a record label. And I introduced myself and I said, "Hi, my name's Gabe." And she turned to me and she went, "Don't worry, I already know who you are." And I was like,
Terrifying, isn't it?
yeah, but also that was kind of cool. And the other thing was sort of at the Estilal after party. One of my friends came to the Estilal after party with me. They got to the door and they were like, "Who are you here with?" And she said, "ESC Gabe," and they were like, "In you go." So those were pretty surreal. Those kinds of moments were sort of like, and then obviously like the Angelina Mango thing itself was hilarious.
I have such strong memories of that because people won't know this. We were together when that happened in the room.
We were sat next to each other in the room.
We sat next to each other. It was us. I think it was Samana who was at Eurova with me. GJ was there. Obviously, all the other fan media lot. And I remember as we turned around and sort of slightly heard, it was just like, that sounds like Imagine.
Yeah.
And then you said it was like, that's. I remember specifically saying something along the lines of, "This is what they would play on the Titanic."
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I was so stressed, right? And at that moment, I remember sitting there, I started just laughing hysterically. Like it all just broke in a moment. I was less stressed after that for the rest of the week. Because I remember it was just it was utterly surreal. It was so ridiculous that I was just like, what's going on now? What even is this? It was
What people might
special.
not know as well, they were handing out Lanoya gift baskets
They were.
at the time. That's what they did. They
And
came
so-
around and they handed out.
And so there was a scrum in the press centre for these gift bags as well. I didn't get one. I was too late. They were all gone by the time I got there. Because I was
me
busy.
too. And then
I was busy sending that tweet. That's why I didn't get a gift basket.
Well, that's a pretty good exchange. I think as well, Dons and Cilia Capsis came out at the time, from my memory. Like they were just kind of circling the room.
Were they?
Yeah, like really, really. Like, at the same time, Angelina was singing. Like Cilia came over and sat like 2 desks away from us. I think was talking to like the Cypriot media, and Dons was just hanging out and saying hi to me. It was a bizarre. Yeah, there's the utterly surreal thing from Angelina, but there's like 3 more circles of utterly surreal in that one moment. It's insane what went on in that room.
Yeah. I also remember another moment I remember from that room that week, and there was plenty more of them, was when Slimane started giving his speech. And loads of people started going like, and like clapping and stuff. And then loads of people started being like, shut up, we can't hear it.
We can hear what he's saying.
And I remember we were stood at the table sort of like this, like just sort of leaned forward, you know, like they do in like TV shows and stuff when something really stressful is going on. It was literally, I mean, you felt like you were in a movie. It literally felt like that. It was just bizarre. It was so like things were just happening. Every 20 minutes something new was happening.
Yeah, it was like the Situation Room. Like we were just there watching everything unfold on the day. And obviously, like if you guys were following on the day on Malmo, I mean, so much was happening in terms of there was rumors going around. There were things going on at the family show. I mean, I remember Bambi Thug didn't perform, and all sorts of stories were flying around that day that we were trying to follow. The Yoast thing, obviously. Yeah, I have some pretty vivid memories of that day. Mostly how tired I was.
For real.
Have you got one, Jay?
Sorry.
Have you got an utterly surreal moment?
To be honest, it's not as crazy as like you two, obviously. Like you guys get like the real crazy stuff. The most utterly surreal moment, I think for me, is that STL after party.
Yeah, it was really
Uh,
fun.
I just kept turning to Gabe like, what? Why am I here? like, like we were just in a room with like these big names in Eurovision.
Yeah, you kept like
and-
spotting people and being like, "That's
Yeah,
that person."
it
I was
was-
like, "Fuck off, they're not here." And then I turn around and they were there. It was like, you know,
Can we name drop them?
no, I don't think we should. But
Okay.
like, yeah, really odd. There was another one I just thought of, Jay, which does relate to you, which was when we finished the interview with Luan. When we were getting up, Luan was like, "I really love your necklace."
Oh my god, how could
Oh
I
my
forget?
God, did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah,
I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
she was lovely as
She-
well, by the way. Such a
Oh, she was
kind soul.
amazing.
Honestly, I love that woman.
She said she liked my style.
And Jay
Yeah,
has
that
not
was
stopped talking about
actually-
it since.
How is
Yeah,
that
like-
not like your bio, by the way? Like, just good style,
Like-
Luan.
The Luan. Like, are you kidding me? How did I forget about that just now? So much has happened.
Gosh. All right, next question. Keep it going.
question.
Wait.
Oh,
There's
wait, you got
one
another
more
one?
thing.
Oh, there
There's
is
one
another
more
thing.
I'm scared what you're going to bring up now.
Someone just typed in Emily DeForest.
Oh,
the
yeah,
chat.
the Emily
And when the
DeForest in the sauna. Yeah, God, how did we forget that? Emily DeForest showing up at the sauna and serenading us like with an acoustic version of I Will Never Give
Only
Up on You by
Teardrops.
Lucy UK 2017 and also doing Only Teardrops. And I
And
remember
then there was that Spanish song.
RS2.
Yeah.
But I remember I opened the door because you'd taken the key. So I opened the door to like the dining room, like sort of wrapped in. I was wearing swimming trunks underneath, just to be clear, but like wrapped in a towel, so you couldn't see the swimming trunks. And I storm into the room and I go, "Jay, give me the key. You've locked me out of the locker." And then I turned around and Emily DeForest is just standing in the corner, like. And it didn't.
She's just there like, will anyone let me sing now?
But it didn't click to me, so I just went. I was just like, "Hey!" And then I turned back to Jay, took the key, and walked out the room. Then the door closed, and I stood there, and then I was like, "Oh, what?" Like, it was just. It completely caught me off guard. Oh God. That was good. That was
yeah,
a good. That was
a
fun.
very surreal moment.
And it was really nice though. She was, and then we had she had a really, you know, we sat and talked. She sat and talked to all of us for like 20 minutes or so. You know, did like a little Q&A and everything. And
Nice.
yeah, it was just. It was
Like the start of a turn up for the opening of an envelope era.
well. That's harsh. I like to think that Visit Tampere paid her booking fee.
I hope.
You know, it was really fun. I actually really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. Okay, now next question.
Right. Question from the YouTube. This is at Edward Mason 9000. This is one I'm only asking purely because I hate both of these songs. Would you rather listen to Running Scared for an hour on loop, or listen to Electro Velvet's Still in Love with You for an hour on loop?
Still in love with you. I hate Running Scared that much.
First,
Yeah.
I think I'd go Running Scared.
Because, like, Still in Love with You has something about it. That something is it's inane and stupid and cringe. Running Scared doesn't have anything about it. That's why it's so bad. You know,
It's
it's
you
like,
could use it for like just like background music,
no,
you know?
no, I'm not on hold for the dentist. Like, I don't want to subject myself to that. Like, the electro swing, at least we can all agree, like, it's hilariously deranged. Like, how did anyone ever think this was a good idea? Level of deranged. That is entertaining in its own way.
No.
Entertaining. I mean, I think electro swing might be one of the worst things that's ever been put on Eurovision. I mean, look, this is the UK we're talking about, so it's not like we've got a gleaming track record, is it? But that is the worst thing we've sent.
Yeah.
There's not even a debate. It's not even close.
I do think it's yeah. It's, God, oh, I hate it. Yeah, it just. I remember when it came out and watching it. It was on BBC Red Button. They didn't even put it on TV. And I remember watching it and being like, "Is this for real? Like, is this serious?"
You know what that reminds me of? You know how lucky we actually are to have the semi-finals on BBC One here now?
Oh,
Remember the
yeah.
old days, 10 years ago? We used to have to go through the red button for everything. It was BBC Four semi-final. The kids don't know what we went through.
It used to be. It was. We were in the trenches. It was bad. We have it so much better now. Jay, you probably won't remember.
The first time I ever watched semi-finals, like actually followed it, was 2018. So
2018.
I was a late bloomer.
18.
Yeah.
Lisbon.
But like I've been watching it since like the final since like as long as I can remember.
Just quickly, because I've just realised there's loads of fireworks outside. Just to be clear, it's Diwali, and
Yeah.
I live in an area where lots of people celebrate Diwali. Like, it's fireworks outside, not like no one's being shot.
You never
It's
know.
not
It is yeah.
Just checking on your
Good to
well-being.
clarify.
But just so you all know, cheese is doing just fine. In fact, I think if I just...
Are we going to get a cheese update?
There we go. You can see him in the corner over there.
Yes.
He's just up there asleep.
Oh,
He's not bothered.
little boy. Right.
Next
Next
one.
question. This is from, I love this, Come to Besiktas on Discord. It
Okay.
says, does it ever get surreal to see your own face slapped over GIFs, face swaps, memes, edits? And
Yes.
at what point did you first have that, oh God, what have I created moment?
When I created the Discord server, this started happening pretty quickly. Like, even when it was just a couple hundred members, people started shit posting like straight away. And you know what? Say what you like about it, it's really funny.
It's hilarious.
It is just really funny. It wasn't always positive because there was people like on Twitter who were not so friendly. At the same time, I will say that I've outlived most of the haters that were like actually good at hating. So I did come to respect certain people who were like professional haters and who were making like edits of me. Like the guy who made the edit of me saying all of the superlative, like it was all a disaster with Verka Serduchka in the background.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
That was really funny. There was this account, it's now long gone, called Waxy Bumhole. And Waxy Bumhole was my most prolific hater. But then something glorious happened during Eurovision week, and I wish I had a screenshot. They posted a tweet being like, I tuned in to ESC Gabe's stream today from his sitting in his Airbnb in Basel, hoping to hate on him, but ended up thoroughly enjoying myself. The week later, deleted the account. Never came back. So that's how I knew I was doing something right. I won over Waxy Bumhole.
That is a
again.
sentence that should not exist.
Nope.
Yeah, can you say that one again?
Nope.
Have a clip, have a
And
clip.
yet,
Without any context, that's
And yet.
crazy.
But no, in this, like in the Discord server and stuff, it's really, really, really funny. Like they are just unhinged, but like I'm here for it. Sometimes I just sit and scroll through, or my girlfriend will scroll through and then show me the funny posts. Because she lurks in that Discord. She never posts anything, but she lurks and she sees everything in there. So she's watching all of you And she's probably watching this right now in the next room. But yeah, so that's why I think it's really funny. Jay, I think your edits are hilarious, but it's funny.
Like they always eat. They're so funny.
It's like there's
Every
this,
time I see my face in that server,
there's this one where it's
either
Jay
laugh or cry.
looking horrified. Like this Jay with a face like with the words "send toes" written on his forehead.
Who made that?
I don't know who made it. It
Which
just showed
one
up.
of you
It
guys?
just showed up as an emote in the server one day. I don't know who made it. But yeah, so there really is. People have no limits with these things, but it's really funny. I find it really, really funny, and I've gotten used to it now as well. At first, it was bizarre. Now it's just funny. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually you just have to come to accept it.
There's no other
Yeah,
option.
you can't really stop it.
You have to just embrace it.
Yeah, exactly. Slightly more serious one
Oh, okay.
coming up. We got to keep changing the vibe through this. Obviously, this is more for you, Gabe, but like since 2024 has happened and all of the things that have been going on in Eurovision, you've sort of become part Eurovision YouTuber and part Eurovision journalist. And we've sort of been in there and reported on this, all the stuff that's been happening over the last 18 months. How wild has that been for you to do that?
It's definitely been. It's interesting because it's like it's happened in quite a. This is going to sound bizarre. In many ways, it was quite helpful to me on a mental level because I was dealing with so much in my head, right? As we were sort of going through all of this phase, and I was dealing with so much in general because, basically anybody who in the chat who's either Jewish or knows a Jewish person will know every Jewish person has had like a wild ride the last 2 years. There were lots of things I was processing and lots of things I was trying to confront and deal with that in many ways actually talking about it in a Eurovision context helped me rationalize a bit and helped me work through things. And so in many ways, getting into this kind of stuff has helped me with that. I think, so on one hand, there's that element. It's been stressful in many ways. I didn't, even though I'm happy to do this, like, and I'm glad I can play a part. It wasn't what I initially signed up for when I started the channel. It wasn't what I was expecting, you know? But it just kind of kept building, you know? And a sort of series of weird things started happening. All of a sudden, I'm emailing the EBU asking for comment. And we start doing these sort of big stories, things like on AI, for example, which you helped with when we were putting together the script. And a lot of the examples were from a summary that you had done for a separate piece you were working on. At the same time, I think it's good because it makes you think about the contest in a different context. It makes you better at everything. And it makes it more interesting for the viewers because you're presenting a much more, you know, sort of a view that's a lot more in touch with the rest of people's lived experiences because you're grounding Eurovision in real life. How does it relate to our real world? I think that's actually a more interesting thing to do, and so I'm glad I'm doing it. Obviously, it's been tough as well, and I never expected that sort of my personal existence as a Jewish person and Eurovision would collide in quite the way they did. At the same time, you know, I think after, you know, I'm really glad that I made the video I did early on in relation to that topic because it was very, very helpful for me on my sort of personal mental level. I remember publishing it and just feeling like I could suddenly breathe because I think there was a lot of things I was trying to understand and process that sort of didn't match with the things I'd always been taught to think and feel about that part of the world. And doing that video really helped me you know,
rationalize it.
yeah, and deal with things in a different way and look very straight at it without, you know, the temptation to try and hide away and pretend like none of it's happening. And I think that was one of the most like important moments for me, sort of politically, personally, emotionally, mentally over the last couple of years. And the channel helped bring that about. So, you know, obviously I'm very thankful. And I'm really thankful to everyone who has supported me as I've sort of gone through these things. And it makes it a lot easier when you get people coming in and saying all kinds of awful things about you. You know, seeing all the comments, people being, you know, kind, and seeing the way people respond in the Discord server and in the premieres and stuff. Yeah, makes me, yeah, it makes it a lot easier. So that was quite a jumbled answer. I hope it made sense. Yeah, there's just, I mean, there's all kinds of spaces and things that I'm now doing, which I don't know, I was never in before. So it's really something. I mean, I was involved with student politics and I worked in politics after uni, which did help because it meant I understood a lot of these structures quite well and I'd worked within them. But yeah, I'm just glad that people seem to be thinking I'm doing a good job. That's the most important thing. You know, and if people feel like I've said things that they were thinking, if people feel like I've drawn attention to things that need draw attention to, that's the most important thing, in my opinion.
That was a very good answer. I'll
Thank
move
you.
it back to the YouTube now. Move it back to a question from YetiCat3462.
Great username.
Do you prefer high energy songs or slower, more ballad-like songs? In terms of personal taste, what do you find yourself drawn to more?
I'm more of a sort of fast, high energy tub thumper type, I think. When it comes to the very top of my scoreboard, you know, things like, Carrier, like, for example. I love that kind of stuff. That said, there's a place for ballads, there's a place for them, but definitely the high energy is like what I end up listening to in the day to day. What do you think, Jay?
I'm kind of the same. Like, I like really high energy songs. I like a lot of hip hop and rap. But some of my favorite songs ever are ballads, like Hold Me Closer ballad, Deslocado. Could you call Deslocado a kind
It's a
of
slow
ballad?
song.
It's lower
Kind of-
energy, for
Yeah.
sure. Not a ballad, but it's like an indie laid-back chill song.
And then one of my favorite songs of all time, Je te laisserai des mots. I think I said that right. It's this really slow, like kind of sad song, but it's very therapeutic. Yeah, I do really like a good ballad. But yeah, most of the time I listen to upbeat music.
Yeah. Sorry, Gollum says Gabe puts on Horodin Moldova in the background before taking a nap. You bet I do.
Amazing song.
Such a good song. But yeah, that said, if you go back and listen to my playlist in like 2020, 21, when the pandemic was about, wow, God, that was a time. That was a time. Listen, it was depressing as fuck in those playlists back then. But there we are. Let's have another one from chat.
I will give another one shout out, but I just had a look at, because obviously you guys both know that I run something called The Model.
Uh-huh.
And I had a look at the musical stats for energy, which we've got for all of the last 10 years, just out of interest as to what like was highest and lowest. What do you think the highest energy song in Eurovision since 2016 is?
Oh God, highest energy since 2016.
Yeah, according to Spotify's API, this.
Okay, that's interesting.
Oh,
This is statistically measurable anyway.
That's curious. God, it's not going to be Cha Cha Cha.
It's not, but you've got the country right. I'll narrow it down that much
Oh,
for you.
it's
is it Blind Channel?
Jay is right. It's
Yeah.
Blind Channel. Yeah, Dark Side is the highest energy one that we've had. Shout outs to Looktelk, which is second.
okay.
Hey,
How
How
I
do they
love that
calculate
song.
these things? I guess
I don't
Spotify
know
has
quite
some
how they
kind of
calculate it.
algorithm.
It comes up with a score for energy, so it's like out of 1, and it's like decimalized. So
Okay.
Blind Channel is 0.955
Okay.
energy. apparently. Uktelk is second, and No Rules is third.
A few
finished-
people were saying no rules in chat.
Yeah, No Rules is very, very high up. And then, yeah, might as well play fun with this. What do you think the lowest energy song is?
Oh,
Of the
is
last
it
10 years.
You? That Georgia song?
Tonika Kipiani, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be, but I've only got the songs from the finals, so
Oh.
yeah. But it could be.
Boo!
I don't think it would be actually though, based on the one
No?
that's up top. I don't think
Amar
it would be.
Polish Deutsch.
Correct. Amar Pelos Deutsch
Oh.
is the lowest energy song of Eurovision in the last 10 years in the final, and it won, which is kind of incredible with the highest point score ever.
There we go.
0.095.
Oh wow, it is
Nothing-
very low energy.
Nothing else is even close. I mean, Marius Bear is second.
Oh,
Marius
God.
Bear. I met
He's
Marius
the
Bear. He
guy.
was really nice. So I feel bad when people are mean about Marius Bear.
That's like that's
Right.
crazy though. Like he got 0 points in the televote,
Mm-hmm.
and then Amar Pelos Deutsch got like over 300.
378.
Like,
378.
yeah,
It's amazing what
the-
happens when your song's actually good.
Like, I don't want to say it, but yeah.
Anyway, I'll do another one from the YouTube. At Sully Gig Archive asked a few questions, but this is one I liked. What entry had a studio version that you loved but was a massive disappointment live?
Oh, let me think.
Omaga.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
Amarga.
No.
Exactly.
Same.
Exactly.
Oh, it was my favorite before the contest.
It was so heartbreaking watching that performance.
I remember seeing it and being like, it's over. Like, it's so
Yeah.
over. There's no point watching this
Jova.
contest anymore. Oh, Mustache. Really good point. Mustache. Halo, Austria 2022, someone says.
I loved Halo.
The Moon is Rising. Run With You. Yeah,
Oh,
Run
The
With You
Moon.
studio version is not that bad. You
The
can
Remedy
tell.
Studio is fine.
But it kind of has the feeling of like a truck hurtling towards a brick wall. And then the live performance was after the truck hits the brick wall. Because like you could so clearly tell it was not going to work live.
It was sort of like what would happen if Mickey Mouse did karaoke night
Yeah,
on
precisely.
the live for Mama Gamma. That just did not.
Oh,
I'm trying to
yeah.
think if I've got one. Is a disappointment, I think.
Oh, what, by Theo F?
Yeah, by Theo Evans, Studio to Live. I remember being in the first rehearsal for that, and we obviously saw, and obviously, like, I can understand why this happened because obviously Theo had so much choreo to do, and he had to hang off of like 7 different things, and that must be really, really tiring. But the vocal did not land
Well-
on that song, unfortunately.
I actually remember on stream, we were taking, Jay was sending EBU compliant 10 seconds or less clips from the jury shows to me to show on stream. Because that was the very specific thing we were allowed to do, which is if we had bought tickets, if members of the press had bought tickets to the jury shows, then 10-second clips filmed in those jury shows could be posted on social media.
We weren't pressed though.
We weren't, but I was making a point of following the rules anyway. And every time there was one of the clips, I'd be like, as is stated in the rules, we're allowed to do 10 seconds. So, and we had the big note for Theo Evan. And in that rehearsal you went to, he totally bombed it. And I remember we played it on stream and I just sat for 30 seconds with my hands on my head afterwards, like,
That's not where you want to be, is it?
In
It
the
was-
arena, it didn't sound that bad, and I was like, when I saw your reaction, I was like, "What, really?" And then I watched my video back, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
yeah."
A sign of things to come. It was really, really, really nasty. Really
Yeah,
nasty.
I mean, there's another one I can think of from Cyprus actually would fall under that category. Ella.
Ella, go
I
girl, give us
love-
nothing.
Yeah, Adramaki. Loved that song. Turin was my first Eurovision I went to live. I went to the family show of that semi-final. And as soon as it ended, I turned to Zoe, my partner who I went with, and just said, "Yep, Cyprus is out." It wasn't even a question. Unfortunately, the vocals just were not there.
Dear, oh dear. No,
Okay.
it was such a mess.
Another one from the Discord, from Kath. How many subs and/or Patreon members will it take to get a cheese cam in the corner of all of your videos?
So the problem is that the guy moves around so much. I mean, so I'd need like I'd need my fiance to run around the flat with the camera after him. I mean, he's been really well behaved tonight. He's just been sat on the on his cat tree in the corner over there the entire stream. He's literally not moved a muscle. Occasionally, when I was laughing, like when we were shrieking with laughter before at the Subway sandwich smash video, Cheese like lifted his head up and looked at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But other than that, I will continue to. If you want to see Cheese, there is a channel in the Discord server. I post photos of Cheese regularly in that channel. I can't bring Cheese to you, B. He is sleeping soundly, and I will not disturb the boy. He's been through a lot. He had to go to. He's had to be to because he had to get neutered. He had to have his vaccinations. So he's had to go to the vet a bunch of times to do all these things. But yeah, I've had Cheese about
wait to meet Cheese.
6-7 weeks now. Someone asked how long I'd had him for. About 7 weeks.
Yeah, Cheese is still a very new introduction to the Eurovision family, but they're getting in there.
Yeah, there will be more Cheese over time. And to be honest, he usually wakes up in the next 20 minutes or so. So if he does, you might see him wandering around. I'll keep an eye out.
Okay, having a look at some more questions. Oh, here's a good one. Lowencraft1404 on YouTube. What is your biggest national final robbery? Now, that is just like, there's a million answers.
What are the ones we've been genuinely like angry at, Jay? There must be some.
Have we been angry at any of them?
I'll tell you what,
Like,
I'll throw one at you that you were both present for. Sarah Siepeler, UMK 2024.
Oh, but she was just slightly pitchy. That's the thing. I understood why that happened.
We weren't angry.
Yeah, because
Or, like, we didn't
Windows
crash
95
out.
Man was our second favorite anyway.
No. Who's we? Who's our? No. Yes, Markin was my other second.
Okay, God. It was my second favorite. I would say, oh boy, Rick, Germany. That was one of the ones I was.
Yeah.
The thing is, I remember at the time I didn't do. Because that night we watched it on a voice call with all of our friends, and actually, no, I'm not sure I can tell that on stream. Oh fuck it, I've started it now. I might as well.
Yes,
and so I'd had a few drinks, and when the jury vote finished, and it was clear that at that point Rick couldn't win. I remember I slammed my beer down on the table and went, "Has the country of Germany not made my people suffer enough?" And that one was the worst one for me, I think. That one was pretty bad. I just didn't understand it at all. I didn't understand how that had happened. Yeah, so that's mine. Jay?
Cool.
Mine is bulletproof losing. But I feel like that's such a common
bulletproof.
answer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because of how tight that was.
Yeah,
That's why
literally.
that one hurt.
They tied in the juries, right? They tied in the juries. And then
I think that was one.
Yeah,
there
or it
was
was-
one point in the.
one of them
public
was
vote.
tied. Yeah. No, that was horrible. Someone mentioned Poland 2023 when Gladiator
Yeah.
lost.
Oh
But
yeah,
we have to be
Gladiator.
honest and say that his live performance was super nervous. Oh, someone's woken up.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh my god.
update.
Jeez.
Cheese. He's spotted something. I don't know what's going on down there. Let me go camera only so you can see him. Oh, the thing's in the way. There we go. Let me move it. There, you can see him. There he is. He's
He's just playing with the Wii.
he's pouring it. There's a controller with a little bit hanging out, and he's just been pouring at it. Oh, off he goes.
Oh.
I'll put the thing back now. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, there's Flora, Flora from Armenia again. There we go. That's the wrong one. So you'll see him knocking about the place now. Oh, where are you going? He's going out the front. Okay, he's left. He's gone. Maybe he'll be back later. Anyway, next question. James, give us another question.
Yes, I will. Let's go for. Here's a good one. You obviously started this with absolutely no subscribers. You've now got 50,000 and counting. Has anything changed in your friendship because of that?
Yes,
Or is everything still
in a
just the same?
sense. I mean, we're a lot closer now than when we started this. We were friends, but
Yeah.
we didn't know each other that well when we started making videos.
We were
Really.
only what, like 2-3 months into our friendship,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy to think about.
Mm.
So yeah, a lot has happened.
I think we're a lot closer now than we were then. Oh,
Good.
I didn't hear any of that, Jay. Say that again.
Oh, we're a lot closer. Yeah, just because like most of our friendship has been with this channel. Um, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought now.
Well, it's the thing is like we've traveled all over Europe. Thank you so much, I Stan. I can't read your username; it's too small. I'm too far away from it. $1, basically for and they have a My Little Pony profile picture, and their name is I Stan Scootaloo forever. Is
Great name.
Scootaloo a character from? I guess probably from My Little Pony. Not familiar. It's Scoot. Then who's Aloo? The point is, thank you so much for your $1. I really, really appreciate that. Scoot. Oh, it's Scoot from the disc. Right. Okay. I'm with you now. Sorry, I got really confused. I was like, who is Scootaloo? Like, is this a character from a show that I'm not familiar with? Yes, I did get one guide. What was the question? Sorry, I've forgotten.
Our friendship has changed.
If your
Oh,
friendship has changed, now you've got a 50,000 subscriber YouTube channel.
I mean, we travel all over Europe together. Cheese is in the room, by the way, so look out for him in the background. We've traveled all over Europe together. We've made all these videos. You know, we've gone through some like tough times as well with this channel where things weren't going the way we planned, and like our friendship has gotten stronger through those things. You know, I think we were good. We were like good friends to start with, but now I'd say we are like really close friends. Like Jay's one of my best friends in the world, and
Aww.
you know we've done all, and it's an amazing thing we've built together, and I am always going to be grateful for it as well.
That is lovely. Moving swiftly on from the Discord. Yeah, sentimentality.
Too mushy. Move on. Next.
This question is a tiny bit mushy, actually. It's from Danny Loves loads of question marks 2026. What is the song that made you fall in love with Eurovision? Not necessarily your favourite one ever, but the song that made you say, yeah, this is a bit of me.
Baila El Cheeky Cheeky by Rodolfo Chiquilaquatre. I will not be taking questions. Jay, you go.
No, you will be taking questions.
Nope. No, I will not. I refuse to be held accountable for this.
I can't believe that's your answer. Fine, Jay.
Either Fairy Tale or Popular by Eric Sada.
Oh, Popular by Eric Sada. That was the first contest I watched live, 2011, the final. And Popular was my very, very favourite that night.
I would, looking back, much rather for that to have won. Like,
Oh yeah.
Well,
it would
anything
mean
could
it
follow,
would mean
to
we
be
would
fair.
have been even more sick of Sweden by if they'd won 3 times in 5 years. Only the Irish are allowed to do that. The Irish, I accept it. Anyone else, no.
Yeah, I feel like we're past the era of which... Because, yeah, if Popular had won, they would have the record as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'd have 8. Luckily, they don't. 7 is just fine. Wait till Ireland win again, and then they can win again. Let's keep going. We'll go for another 10, 15 minutes or so, by the way. So we still have some time for some good ones.
Yeah, and if
Okay,
anyone's got any... Yeah, Jay?
I need the toilet, so I will be back.
Okay, Jay. Go
Okay.
piss girl. Everyone say go piss girl.
Go piss girl in chat. And yeah, if anyone's got any more questions for the last 10, 15 minutes, whack them in the Game Discord 50k QA chat, because I'm looking in there. Anything new, pop that in there. I will make sure we get some new ones in before the end of the stream. What I'll ask you, Gabe, while Jay's gone, and you can say whatever you want about him, is what is, in your opinion, the best moment in your YouTube career so far?
The best moment in my YouTube career so far.
Yeah, I guess you can quantify what best is.
I mean, Gosh. Oh God, I'm trying to think now. Jesus, that's a huge question to just throw at me at 9:27 p.m. on a Sunday night.
This is what I do. This
The-
is interviewing.
You know what? I have to say, I think it was Eurovision week 2025. I was so scared going into that week, so nervous. I had no accreditation. We can talk a bit more about that if you want. Cheese just walked past. No accreditation, going in blind, not knowing what I was getting myself into, no idea if it was going to work out. Feeling really nervous and like exposed. And just everything came together. And it felt so special. It was just the most amazing thing. That whole week was like a fever dream. And
I think
a lot of it was really tough, but
Yeah, I remember we would, because obviously I did a couple of streams with you that week, and we would come in, and there would be times, I don't think you mind saying it, but you'd be so tired and like kind of not done, but sort of, you know how people can be when they're a bit worn down and just so focused on things, because that's what Eurovision is for us a lot of the time. The fact it all came together in the way that it did, given the fact that you didn't have the accreditation and you were largely just there on your wits in an apartment doing whatever you could. I mean, the way it all happened, I think, was absolutely amazing, to be honest. I have so many good memories of that week. Like the Krista stream is a really, really good one from that week.
oh, what when Gigi just completely lost it at Krista Bjorkman.
Oh, there was that. But no, I'm sorry. Remember when Krista Secrets just showed up?
Oh,
and we got
Krista, not
in the-
Krister.
Yeah,
Okay.
not Krista.
Krista,
And we got
of
her in the
course.
flat.
That was so fun. I had no idea. You can see me just standing there, like sitting there, like it takes a moment for me to process, and then I'm like, and then in my brain I'm like, questions, do journalism, quick, like.
No, but do you know what's amazing about that was like you just went into it. It's not like because like chat, in case you feel like that might have been staged, that was not staged. Gabe had no idea. We all did, but he didn't. And he just went into it as if it was all perfectly prepped. We were just sitting around the corner like, how the fuck is he handling this so well? Oh, do you know what the funniest thing about that is? Obviously, I knew it was happening, but it's not like I'd met Krista Secrets before Krista arrived. So I sort of had to be like, cool, because it's your moment. But at the same time, Krista Secrets has jumped on me and is sort of hugging me. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I was, I hadn't met Krista before, but like, we'd sort of, we vaguely sort of knew each other through GJ because like they did stuff together at Out TV. And one time in our group chat, I described Krista as like the fun aunt of Eurovision. GJ had showed this to Krista, and did you just do a shit? You better
She's
not.
do shit.
You better not. That better not be a shit. I think he just peed. I'll smell it in a minute if he did a shit. Anyway, and then I later on hit GJ to wind me up and sent a video to us where Krista went, "Hi Gabe, it's your fun aunt Krista here," being like, and I was like, like mortified. Oh, it was so funny. I cannot wait to see Krista again at like, I don't know, Eurovision concert or something, I imagine.
Yeah.
Just a total beam of sunshine. That was a real highlight for me. I really enjoyed that. And I remember she just came in. We went through her performance. She bragged about the fact that her husband was ensuring that she had a good time in Basel. And then she left just as fast as she arrived. It was like a whirlwind. Oh, God, what a day.
Right. We've got about 10 minutes left. Both of you are back. So quick fire from the Discord. As quick answers as you can, because I've got quite a few here I want to get through.
All right.
From your good friend and guest host in the future, ESC Gotham. Gabe, are we taking the Soviet sleeper train from Bucharest to Chisinau for Etapa Națională 2026? Yes or yes?
Yes. Next question.
Excellent. Believe in Joe Hendry. I love Joe Hendry. Says, what has been your favorite ever Eurovision Song Contest?
My favorite ever, 2013.
Yeah. Malmo. Well, one of.
Yeah, Malmo one was great. Also,
too.
2017 was my first ever in person, obviously, but yeah, 2013.
Yeah, what's yours?
As much like stress as 2024. It was very stressful,
2024.
but I had a great time in Malmo.
Good, good. From Miranda, no, I'll do that next. From Kaylee, which national final excluding UMK, are you most excited for in 2026?
Estilal, and I can't say why, so I won't be.
Okay, Jay.
Uh, Melfest.
I'll give a non-cop out answer as well, which I think the Austrian one, because it's new. I'm always interested in what happens with the new ones.
I'm really interested in the Austrian one, just on the grounds that like it's very rare a host country decides to then do an NF.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of an example when that's happened in a while, so that will be interesting. What else have we got here? Miranda, what do you think is the strongest year for songs overall of Eurovision ever?
2024. I
He
think
really loves 2024.
it was
2024.
incredible.
Also, did you just hear Cheese meowing?
No, we
He's-
didn't.
I
I,
think
don't think
chat
the
might
mic picked
have.
it up.
Also, Smoltron Poika, thank you so much for the 50 Swedish krona. I haven't watched Sami Grand Prix before, but I should do a video on it. I think that'll be fun. Anyway, sorry, continue. You were saying, but my answer was 2024.
Great, so 2024 all round. From Buckboo, what was the worst national final you've ever watched and why?
I guess I'm sort of in a corner here in that I made a video calling it the worst one ever, which was Moldova last year. Same time, other ones that were really, really awful. Most of the German ones I've ever watched were very difficult to get through. Very, very difficult to get through because there was just so much useless slop. So Germany as a whole, all of them combined.
So, if I
Yeah.
put specifically 2022 at least has value, because do you remember the soap incident?
Oh my god.
No.
So, what was
Just like try
Jane?
not to
What
blink.
was her name? What was her
I
Oh,
name?
can't
she forgot the
remember.
words.
The one who forgot the words. I
Yes.
can't remember her name now off the top of my head. But yeah, she had a song called Soap, and she completely forgot the second verse. It was like,
Emily Roberts.
yeah, Emily Roberts. That's it. Try not to flinch. Wow. I had Emma Roberts in my head, but I was like, no, that's the actor.
Gosh. Oh no, that one's no. Now you, jeez, yeah, that was really, really bad.
Right.
Olga, who's from Greece, has nominated the Greece national final from this year. It says, I
Wasn't
can't
that
watch
bad.
Paparazzi singing
that
My
bad.
Number One anymore. I guess if you're Greek, you've had to hear that song be sung on every like variety show for 20 years. I imagine, so I guess it gets boring after a while. More
I grew
questions.
up- Yeah, I'll say quickly, I grew up in Cyprus for a while, and when I was living there in 2005, when Greece won, they all treated it like they'd won. Same thing when they won the Euros. Cyprus just takes the win. Rustic Potato asks, who is one Eurovision artist you would love to interview? And that is for both of you.
All time.
Yeah, all time.
Oh God. Okay, it's a national final artist, and
Okay.
I'm not saying this is a joke answer. I mean it 100% seriously, because I think there would be an angle to do a really sweet, sincere interview, which is just like
Tudor Bumback.
really joyful. Tudor Bumback.
Yes, two double
It would be so sweet to just sit down with Tudor Bumback. And I have no idea if this guy even knows how much Eurovision fans love him. Like, I would love to go and interview Tudor Bumback and take, like, I don't know, a big card or something, which, like, with hundreds of people having left
All of the-
messages.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
That would be, I think that for me would be such an, I think that would be really, really fun. So I'm actually genuinely, unironically saying Tudor Bumback.
Okay, Jay.
I think I'd
Can't
say
beat Tudor.
Moreland.
And why is that, Jay?
A monster like me is it has a very special place in my heart. And even his national final song from 2019, like I don't know, he's written some of my favorite songs from Eurovision and MGP, and like I'd love to have a conversation with him.
That'd be really fun.
Mm.
Let's
Yeah,
keep
I
them
think that's a
coming.
good
We have
shout.
time.
Yeah, I will keep them coming. What is your favorite Eurovision song from before 2000? So Jay, from before you were born.
Um, Save All Your Kisses. Probably
Brotherhood of
Serious
Man,
one.
for me.
76. Yeah.
Bandio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good pick, actually. Cool. This one's just come in, but I really like it. For all three of us, apparently. Which has been your favourite country of this decade so far, based on their Eurovision entries? So from 2020, I guess, including the ones that never made it.
I have the most boring answer.
Yeah.
Finland.
Yeah, that's pretty boring.
Yep.
But it is, I mean, I get it.
Go on.
I do get it. I
James,
probably
you
would
go
have said
next.
Spain. Well, I probably would have said Finland, so that's not great. I will say Lithuania because I feel like they always have
Ooh.
something unique. Obviously, like we've had Monica Liu, we've had Monica Linkito. I still like that song. Sylvester Belt was great, and Catharsis. My God, what an entry that was! Love those guys, even though they're about the most laid back people we have ever interviewed.
That was my worst shout of all time. I do want to address the elephant in the catharsis-shaped room, which was my tweet where I said they were a dark horse to win. I just want to be clear. It was 4:00 in the morning in Estonia. I was in the middle of a drunk kebab, and I'd just seen that they'd won the national final. So I just threw that tweet out. But the thing is, by the next morning, it had already gone too far for me to row it back because it would have looked like I folded under pressure. So I had to just stick by it. The only option was to double down. That was one of my more interesting takes. I'll say that.
Jay.
Ukraine.
Ooh, good.
That's
You have
solid
Solove,
choice.
Shum,
That's
2023, Heart of Steel. Oh yeah, Stephania, Heart of Steel, like banger after banger. Teresa and Maria, like
Teresa Maria is amazing. How little that song gets talked about now. Unbelievable staging. That might be one
I
of the
still
best
listen to
ever.
it.
Yeah. And like Jerry Hale as
song.
well. He's so good. Like of a vocalist. Like
Unbelievable
it's
vocalist.
scary how good she is.
I genuinely think that's one of the best entries. And Bird of Prey this year was also really, really good. I mean, the live, maybe on the stage, it wasn't quite as good as we maybe hoped, but I think that song is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and he was ill. Like the singer was ill.
Yeah,
like,
Danny was really ill.
So the fact he could even get it out was,
Yeah,
success enough,
I don't think people realise how much pressure they were under actually, because I spoke to them the day after the semi-final, and you could tell that like they really, really, really wanted to succeed, and they felt as if they weren't going to at one point, and you can really see on their face how much they wanted it. I am still going through more questions.
Let's have two more quickfire ones. Two more quickfire
ones.
and then do a deep one to finish.
Oh yeah, I've had a deep one saved for the end. The whole
God!
time.
Okay,
Don't you worry.
I should have known.
Right.
Oh,
Two more quick fire questions. Please ask Gabe to start paying the mods. We need to afford the therapy bills. Gabe, when will you pay the mods?
I love my Discord mods very, very, very much. Shout out to all of you. B, Taz, Tara, Kath, and Dilly, and of course, the one and only ESC Cat, Jay, and Adam. That's the amazing team that runs the server. We're gonna, I think, probably bring on a couple more mods in the near future as well. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate everything you do. And one day I will buy you all a pizza.
Isn't that it?
Listen, I'm trying to keep I've got to keep the roof over my head. I'll get there. I promise.
I would like to encourage everyone to unionize at this moment in time. There's a question I like, but I'm going to change it slightly, Flame64, if you don't mind. I will ask Gabe, during your time as a Eurovision journalist, what's like the funniest interaction you've had with a Eurovision artist, whether that's on camera, off camera, whatever?
The funniest interaction I've had with a Eurovision artist. The absolute funniest of all time, I can't say, but you know what? I'm gonna say at LEP, when Vibe were coming in, the guy who was running the press room, he'd been like, I know you want to interview Vibe, that's obviously completely fine, but just remember that there's like a set order that you have to. So in the press room, there's a set order. The event is sponsored by Wee Wee Blogs, so everyone goes to Wee Wee Blogs and the other sponsors and stuff. And then they go around the room, which is, and then they came in. And they saw me, and they just went, "Yay!" and they just ran over, and made a complete scene to the entire room. Everyone was staring at us. That was really, really funny. And I really enjoyed that moment.
No, those guys were great. I mean, I was filming stuff for the Eurovision like next to you guys, so it all happened in front of me. I think I was interviewing someone at the time, and I just sort of went, "Apologies, we're gonna have to pause here." Vibe, of course, an incredible scene in front of us.
What about you, Jay?
Um,
Can you think
What
of
was
any
the
off the top of your
question?
head? Your favorite, funniest interaction on or off camera with an artist?
funniest. Oh, I haven't like really interacted with many artists actually. Maybe something with Vibe. Half Done killed me in Minecraft.
The Minecraft
There's a
videos.
Minecraft video.
Yeah, the Minecraft videos were really fun.
Or
Those
the
are-
talent show we did.
Oh yeah,
you
explain
seen
this.
that
People
video?
don't know about this. Explain this.
So months ago, I think it was before Eurovision, we filmed a talent show. It was
The Vibe
Vibe's
Discord
Got Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I completely forgot about it until they uploaded it one day. It was just like a bunch of people on Discord auditioning, like showing us their talent, and it was so funny. So yeah, I think that one. It was just yeah.
Okay. Tell you what then, one more serious question.
Oh God. Okay. Here
One
we
more
go.
serious. Back to the serious vibes. As I try and open up, I want you guys back on full screen. So I was looking on the other Discord tab. Right, got you back now. Now we've had a chance to reflect and go back over the 2 years of the ESC Gabe channel. How meaningful is what you've built? Because it's not just the videos, it's the fact that we're here chatting at nearly 10 p.m. UK time, 11 p.m. in Europe, and there's a few hundred people watching us natter, all because of this channel. I mean, how incredible is that you've got this community with you now?
I mean, I'm immensely grateful to it. And I'm immensely grateful to everyone who's helped make this happen. I do have to sometimes I just sit and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I see all of it unfolding around me, and it's sort of you sort of the way these kinds of things happen is they happen. And you're like, whoa, what the and then you sort of get used to it a little bit, and then every now and then you have another moment of being like, oh wow, like this is. You have moments of sort of revelation almost where you realize and you remember and appreciate just number one how lucky I am. Number two, how surreal it all is.
Utterly.
Indeed.
Right.
I was going to say utterly surreal, and I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, well, I was going to.
And it just genuinely, it's so strange to me and so funny that this is something we started up just as like a little kind of hobby on the side, with no desire to make any money from it, because obviously you're not monetized at the start. So we were just going to do it and, see what happened. That now has a very serious chance of becoming my full-time job. I get to talk about the thing I love more than anything else in the world. and be able to support myself financially doing it. That is like one of the greatest gifts that anyone could ever give me. And it's all of you that have given me that. And I just, I cannot understate how grateful I am for that. You know, the other day when I posted about the fact I hit 50,000 subscribers, I said, this is, you know, thank you for making a dream I've had my entire life coming true. I watched YouTubers when I was like 12, 11, 10 years old, being like, I want to do that. You know? And so to kind of be in this position now is just the greatest privilege that I could possibly have asked for. I feel so blessed. And I also want to say, because it is a really important part of this story you don't see, my previously girlfriend and now fiance does so much behind the scenes. You don't see her running around the living room helping me remove stuff from the backdrop, which shouldn't be there before streams start. You know, you don't see her, you know, making sure I'm okay at events. You don't see her when I have a shitty time filming and I feel really crap afterwards and she cheers me up. You don't see when she makes me lemon and ginger tea before I go on stream to make sure my voice holds up. Like, and she's like one of the biggest unsung heroes of this story. And I love her so much. And she's watching, I hope, and or can hear through the wall. Through the wall.
Through the world.
Yeah.
We are the world.
But so and you know, I just can't wait to do even more of this. You know, to explore, you know, to go and explore new places with Jay and with Cynthia, who's going to sort of come along and help, I think, to a lot of these too. And to, you know, meet more of you guys and to just do more fun stuff. I'm so grateful to be in this position. And not a day goes by where I'm not like, how on earth have I ended up in this position? And I just really hope that I can keep doing it. Because I just want to appreciate every moment of this blessing for as long as it lasts, however long that might be.
Jay, I'll give you the final word. I feel like that should be how it is. Gabe can speak a little bit. Jay, you get the last word.
It's been so crazy over the past 2 years. Like, working on, how many videos are there on the channel now?
Almost 100 now.
Yeah, like
80 or so.
And you know, there was ups and downs. But honestly, it's been so incredible being a part of it. And like Gabe said earlier, like I feel like this is just the beginning. Like there's so much more to be seen. Yeah, I'm super excited for the future.
Yeah, and I do have some more thank yous. I'm afraid you're not getting away. You're not getting away without a shout out of your own. I do also want to say thank you to yourself, James, to GJ and Sem Honor, who all three of you who have, you know, there have been times where, you know, a lot of the videos you've seen from me on controversial topics, I've come blustering into the group chat I have with James and GJ and Sem Honor and been like, this is shit, I'm gonna, and everyone's like, hold on.
Yeah, calm the fuck down. Get on a call.
Let's make this productive. So thank you guys for keeping me sane and keeping me pointing in the right direction very often. And I do want to say again, if this is going to be, because I guess I feel like I'm closing up now, so I'm going to close up the stream. I do want to say again, seriously, thank you all so much. This is, you know, I've accomplished something over the last 2 years with all of you and with Jay that I never thought would be possible. I'm grateful beyond words to be in this position. I really hope we still have a contest to talk about. And I don't think I'm going to disappear. If we don't, I'll just go to the Yugover Garlic Festival instead. And the World Tramp Championships. I massively appreciate everything. And yeah, and that's that. I am obviously obligated to say, if you haven't already, subscribe, become a patron, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, follow Jay on Twitter.
Please.
Yeah, he posts so many questionable tweets.
Astonishingly questionable. That's what we want.
And let me finish by saying this. Cheese, in fact, peed. He did not do a shit. And if that isn't a happy
Yay.
ending, then I don't know what is. With that, thank you all so much for watching. There'll be a video probably either Friday or Sunday. The iceberg is going to be November/December, I think, just because it takes so long to write. And I will see you all soon. For now, everyone wave. And don't stop waving until I say.
Oh, God.
Still waving. Okay, I'm going to
Bye,
press the button now.
everyone.
Bye.